But it's funny because while I was watching that for the first time and having a great time, like I don't think I've ever watched as many marketing videos as I watched of yours. It struck me that it wasn't unlike, I had a commercial sex worker on named Ayala Girl, and I remember asking her the question, like, the first time you get on camera and, you know, you're doing your cam girl thing, there's no going back to the moment before that, right? Like you've pulled the trigger. There's no putting the bullet back in there. Yeah. Did you have a hesitation there of like, I'm going to pull this trigger?
No, I never had any hesitation. And I didn't really, you know, I didn't think much of it. We were just videoing the shit that we were doing. And we were so used to doing it that it didn't strike me as really that crazy, honestly. Because that's just what I've been doing that for decades. I've been, you know, just doing stupid hoodlum shit and stupid stunts in my whole life. It didn't really occur to me. And when the backlash from that first Last Friday video happened, I was like very surprised. You know, I got lost.
What was the backlash? What happened?
Oh, I mean, it was crazy. There were people calling in from all over the world. I got pulled over 5 times in 3 days. They were trying to press all kinds of federal charges on me. I got fired from my coaching job. I got banned from the resorts. I was not allowed on campus. I got tons of hate mail, and I was like, whoa, you know, like I was totally taken back by it. Like I had no idea that it was going to be like that kind of a backlash. I just thought some kids would be like, oh yeah, like that's tight. You guys are, you know, killing it. Like I didn't think that it was going to have this reaction. And so when it did have that reaction, I remember like being faced with a choice, and I was faced with a very clear choice actually. And the choice was like, you know, I was employed, I've been coaching the CU freestyle ski team for like over a decade. And they said, you know, I can save your coaching job, but this video has to come down like today. And I remember being like, okay, so like, this is not going well. There's a lot of people, you know, angry about this video, but there's also a lot of people that aren't. Do I want to take this down, apologize, and tuck tail, or do I want to stand behind it? And I don't think it took me more than 2 seconds to think about it. And I said, that's fine. You can fire me from the coaching job if you want. The video's not coming down. And so I said, you know, you guys can fuck yourself. If you don't like the video, don't buy my shit. I don't care. And to kind of drive that point home, you know, I made the apology video, which of course didn't apologize for anything and was a spoof on the, you know, LeBron James Nike commercial. And so I just decided to kind of stand my ground. And then, you know, whatever the next year or 2 years later, we came out with this Friday, and we just went like times 10. Instead of, you know, me waking up in bed with 2 naked chicks, I'm waking up under a pile of naked girls, and like we're doing drugs and we're fucking, you know, skydiving, and like just everything was like times 10. And so I think at some point I just kind of realized that I realized that it's better to just own it. If you know, with the whole like kind of cancel culture, if people sense any kind of weakness, it's like, you know, wolves descending upon you. And so I think you just have to stay strong, and people realize that they're just not going to get very far. They're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm not going to, you know, cry about it. I'm not going to take down the video. I'm not going to apologize. You know, it's not going to have the effect that they want it to have. So I take their power away from them. Their cancel culture power. So I think that was around the time when I realized that, you know, just do stuff, be smart about it, stand behind it, and hopefully, you know, it gets people talking.
You know, it's funny. I think that the role that you play in culture probably is archetypal in some way, because if you're watching cancel culture go on, you figure like, who will stand up to this? How will this stop? And I found myself after watching your videos, I get on Twitter and I'm like, I'm going to go poke some people like that are causing problems. Like you're telling me I really, really dislike mask mandates. And for whatever reason, me saying that brings people out of the woodwork to come after me to be like, you have to change your opinion. But they say it in the most like egregious, you're awful, you're killing grandmother, blah, blah, blah. And like, you get to a point where you're saying like, the only way that I can respond to you is to somehow like bring myself down to your level. And so you're doing something that's really different. You're very forward leaning in that way, where you're not waiting to get down to somebody's level. You're just playing the game in a different way.
Yeah, I think that, I don't want to get into a whole thing on politics, but I think that that is why Trump won the first time, is because he was much more unapologetic about who he was, take it or leave it kind of a thing. And I think, where things have gone with how PC you have to be and how you have to tiptoe around everything, and there's only certain words you can use, and it's just gone way too far. And I think that that's why Trump originally was elected, because he was just, not a politician. He was not trying to, say and do exactly the right things. He was just being himself, and was relatively unapologetic about it. I'm not looking to get elected, so I can be, even more unapologetic about whatever it is that I do.
So the strategy that you're using works unless the wave crashes all the way over and cancel culture gets, all the power. Are you worried about that?
No, not at all. The more, the more the whole COVID thing is, I think, also kind of uncovered, two very different groups of people with the mask and no mask thing, and just the whole deal. And I think that there will always be free thinking people that refuse to, sort of like get in line and do what they're supposed to do, what the media is telling them to do, what, the politicians or whoever it is, whatever they're telling them, they have a little bit of a mind of their own and they think for themselves. And there's also just people out there who don't care. I'm not out there, clubbing baby seals to death and, smothering children. Like, my marketing is like making funny videos where we don't really take ourselves seriously, and like standing on a fucking log in a protected lake that was photoshopped, and pooping in a lake that was photoshopped. I'm not out there like killing people. It's like all relatively, minor stuff. So people. But
your marketing requires that you be comfortable with people literally hating you, or as close to hating as they can of a person they don't know.
I have people, protesting in front of my warehouse. People send me chocolate dicks in the mail. I got poop sent in the mail. People send all kinds of crazy hate mail. I've had people spit on my car. They've yelled at me in the street. There's definite hate. People hate me. They want me to die. They want me to die in an avalanche. They want me to get shot in the head. They want my dog to die. They want me to die. What I've realized is, yes, I've taken it to, definitely another level, but people are going to hate you no matter what. The more successful you are, the more well-known you are, the more fun you have in your life, and other people, see that as you throwing that in their faces. They're miserable in their parents' basement. They haven't gotten laid in 3 months or 3 years. They're broke, and you're out there living this amazing life, doing all these things that they only wish that they could do. A lot of them are gonna hate you. It's people who are secure and happy in their lives who don't care about this shit. They're like, oh, this is cool. So I think it just depends on a person's perspective, but no matter what, there's gonna be people that hate you. And so I just had to get comfortable with that, probably about when I started the company, it was probably 11, 12 years ago. I started having to get comfortable with the fact that people are not going to like me. And the better that I do and the more that I succeed, the more of those people there will be out there.
I think you create more people that are like that, because I think that people just need to see how it's done, and then it empowers them in some way. Thanks for checking out this podcast short. If you like this interview, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and hit that bell so you always get notified about this podcast. And if you're really interested in conversations like this, you may want to consider joining the Articulate Ventures Network. To find out more, go to network.articulate.ventures.